Hi again, it's Donna. We're going to go ahead and start the projects that we talked about in our first video. So the first one we're going to do is our little puffer fish. That's again for my pre-primaries that are 18 months to 3 years of age. So as a parent, you're going to go ahead and get your watercolor paper that we already talked about and choose any color that you like. I'm going to be using yellow. So we're going to show you how to do that. Let me get this out of the way so you can see what I have on the table. I'm going to go ahead and just pour a little bit of the yellow paint on, okay? Then you would have your toddler pull the paint up. I like to tell them pull, 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 so they get that idea or feeling of what to do. You can have your hand and help direct them and how to do it, okay? The other thing you can do if it's easier is you can take the paint and put it in a bowl or on a paper plate and then take a spoon and scoop it right on to your paper too if you want to do it that way, if that's easier for you. So you're just going to have them pull the yellow part up to kind of make the top and the head, okay? And then they're going to take their finger and you're going to have them do little fins on the side of the top of the fish. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to add some white paint for the tummy part of the fish. So I'm just going to put it on. And again, if it's easier for you to spoon on, you can spoon it on to the paper as well. Okay? And then they're going to pull the white part down to make the tummy. Okay. Now to finish up this project, I'm going to take a little black and use it to make the mouth of the fish and then some little eyes. So again, have them use their fingers. You can have this on a little plate or you can have it on a little bowl and they can put their finger in it and show them where to tap on the eyes and the little mouth of the puffer fish. So what you can do after that if you want is let it completely dry. Like if you need another project to work on the next day, you can let it dry and then have them pull some green lines to make some seaweed on it, or you can have them brush on some blue for water with some watercolors. That's always fun if you want to add more to it later. So pretty much that's easy, all set for our little pre-primary. So that's the first project of the week I was going to have them do. And let me show you the second one. Now this one you're going to have to help them a lot with using the fork because it's hard for them with their motor skill abilities at such a young age. So the second one I was going to let them have a little more fun with it. So they can basically, they're going to just finger paint. So they can kind of paint all over this paper. They can make more than one. That's really up to you. So just again to give you the general gist of it, I'm sure you can understand them finger painting. You would allow them to have different colors and put as much as you want on, and then just have them pull the different colors around the paper, okay? And then when you're all done with the paint, again, I just have them play with the fork. They can make different patterns on the paper. It's really fun and cool for them. They like to do that. But you can go ahead and add more and fill it up so they have fun with that one. Okay, so that's the first age group, the youngest group, the pre-primary. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot over just a little bit and go to my next group, which is the primaries. Those are 3 to 5 year olds. And they're going to be doing the starfish that we talked about in the first video. It's like a crayon resist. So my kids will tell you, they'll tell you parents that watercolors do not stick to crayons or to oil pastels. It's a resist. They resist the color. So you can add it, and even if they hit the watercolor onto the crayon, it shouldn't stick. So for this one, you have your watercolor paper. You're going to take your pencil and draw a star. Now I'm going to do it as lightly as you can so you can almost barely see it. That way if you have to erase stuff, it won't be hard to erase. So parents, this is a good time to help your kids work on shapes if you want to have them learn their shapes while they're home, on how to make a star. Now, if you see mine, I'm going to show you an example of my starfish. Just a second here. Try and kind of draw it as quickly as possible. This one, you only see the outside edge of the star. Okay, on this one, you can see that I actually just drew a star really regular like that. So all I'm going to do is take my eraser, and then I'm going to take out the lines on the inside of my star. So we just have just the star now. And then I'm going to use my crayons, okay? So I've erased the inside lines. Now, I say, you know, they love to be creative. You let them choose whatever colors they want to go ahead and do their stars. I would say use a darker color on the outside edge. That'll just help you be able to see it a little better than if you choose like a yellow or something like that. So I have a darker color on the edge, and then let them just kind of choose whatever fun color or whatever patterns and designs that they want to make with their colors. Okay, so we have, might put a big circle in the middle. That'll be fun, color those in. Now, I'm doing this kind of quickly because I want you to be able to see all the projects in not a real long amount of time, but I encourage you to encourage the kiddos. Take your time. It's like I always tell the kids at school, this is not a race. We want you to try your best. Take your time, because you always do better work when you take your time. Okay, so if I'm doing something kind of quickly, it may not look as good as if I were to take my time and do it nicely. So even if you're at home, take your time and do it nicely. Don't rush and do a rush job on it, because moms and dads always want to see what a fabulous job you can do if you take your time. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put some of these little guys on here. All right, and then I would color the inside. Let me see this one. Maybe we'll do yellow. Now, you don't have to be necessarily super careful. Try to stay within inside your star though, okay? Because you want to save the outside of the star for your watercolors. So I'm just adding yellow around my other colors. Again, my kids don't color as fast as I do, because they'll tend to come out the lines and stuff. So slow down when you're coloring it in and just take your time and do a nice job, okay? So last on this, I'm just going to go ahead and choose the colors I want. It's a starfish, so I'm assuming he's in the water, right? He's in the ocean, so I might add some blue. Remember to put more water on your brush if you need more color. Okay. All right. So I'm going to add some blue, but you know, it is kind of fun to add other color into it. Because maybe like when the sun hits the water, right, you might see some other colors shining. So I'm going to add some purple, because I think it just might be cool if I add some purple. Okay. Now remember, take your time. I do want to show you though that some of the color hit my star, and because it's crayon, it usually doesn't stick. So I just kind of wiped it a little bit with my finger and it kind of comes off. I'm just going to kind of finish this one up, and then we will do our 5-year-old projects. Okay, so this is my new starfish, which is a lot different than that starfish. Why? Because we want to be creative, we want to try something new, do something different. Not everything has to look the same. The reason why I'm going to go ahead and show you all these projects today, because at school, those age groups might only be doing that project for the week, but you're home, you got extra time. I want to show you all the projects so that you can have the opportunity to do more than one. If your kid chooses to do all the projects, that's fine. Although my little guys may not be able to do some of these other ones, the older kids can definitely do some of the younger ones. I'm going to come over here to this table now because I have everything set up. And we're going to do our PLCs, which is our 5-year-olds. Okay, so the PLCs, excuse me, I'm going to go this way for a second. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors. So I'll grab some little ones. Okay, so we're going to do a seahorse, and it's a little bit of a mixed media one because we're going to add some of these things to make their little fins and such on here too. So you're going to need a pencil again, and we're going to see here, I'm going to draw it right here. I'm going to start over here for the nose. Okay, I'm going to go and then up for the head. Down. It's kind of like a C, right? With just a bent area right here, kind of a straight and bent area, and it's like a C. And then I'm going to do the tail, right? Tail's right here. And come up, and then go back to my head. I'm going to pull around for the little mouth. He's got a cheek right there. Comes down to a neck and goes out. He's got a big belly. Now I'm going to show you something. I like to show people things when Miss Donna messes up. Sometimes I don't do things perfectly. I don't like the way he looks here. He looks a little too plump for me. So That's why I asked you to have your eraser ready. So if you have an eraser, you can go back and make corrections, and it's okay to make mistakes. Sometimes things turn out better the second time around. He's still a little plump, but that's okay. All right, so that's the outline of my seahorse. So like with the starfish, I'm gonna outline him. Just pick a nice color. I think this time I'm gonna use red. Kind of like a burgundy, isn't it? Okay, so we're gonna go around. Okay, I want to color in where I think the seahorse's eye is. So you're gonna make him an eye, maybe give him a little nose, and maybe he's smiling. Okay, so he's got a little smiley face. The next thing I want to do is I want to put any kind of fun design on him. So I'm going to do some squiggly stripes like that. Like I said, it doesn't have to look exactly like the sample that I made. You can make it look like that if that's the way you want yours to look like, but that is not important. What's important is having fun and being creative. That's what that's all about. So I'm going to go back in and color the patterns in. And remember, I told you, take your time. This is not a race. The only reason I'm going a little bit quicker now is so that I can make sure I can get all these done and show you all what to do. All right. So now I've got all those colored in. And you know what? Maybe mine has hearts on it just because it feels like it want to have some hearts. So you could have stars in there. You could have polka dots in there. Pretty much anything that you're wanting to do. Okay, so excuse me. So we've got all of that done. Now I want some bubbles because I want my seahorse to be in the water. And the way to do that is I'm going to take the blue and make a little circle and a little indent. So you can see that right there. I'm going to do that a few times wherever I want some bubbles. You can have some bigger ones and some smaller ones. The only thing I will tell you is don't put them up here because that's where we're going to glue on our cupcake liners. So I'm doing that. Now remember, we're going to use watercolor for this picture as well, and it doesn't stick to crayon. So I'm going to grab a white crayon and just color in my bubbles. Okay? So that's done there. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and paint this and fill it in, and then lastly we're going to add on our paper fins. Okay, so again we have the watercolor and we have some water. So I'm going to figure out what color do I want for the body of my seahorse. So I'm thinking, why not be pink? Because, you know, who doesn't like a pink seahorse? I don't know, I do. That would be cool. So I'm going to paint the seahorse in pink. And I want you to see this again right here. It's not really sticking to the crayon. That's why they call it crayon resist. So it's okay if you get a little bit of that pink on your crayon because it's not sticking. Okay. So I'm going to fill in my seahorse. After that, I'm going to go ahead and do my water. Again, he's in the sea, so I'm going to choose some blues now. I think I'm going to do a little mixture of some light blue and some darker blue. Now when it comes to adding your cupcake liners, you don't have to add them. If you would prefer to make your fins for your seahorse, you can just use crayons if you prefer not to use a liner, or if you just don't happen to have cupcake liners. You can go ahead, and I would say at the time that I was coloring the designs on the seahorse, go ahead and color him a fin and a little crown on top of his head instead of waiting and doing that with the cupcake liners if you don't have those, okay? But if you forget, you could always let it dry and then go back over with crayon or oil pastel because it should be able to go over the watercolor. Okay, so now I have my watercolor on there. The last thing I'm going to do is add this. Now typically I would tell you, you might want to let it dry so you don't kind of mess the colors up, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this now and finish it. So I'm taking my cupcake liner and I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to cut it in half. Then I'm going to cut it in half again. Okay. And I'm going to make a little fin. I need some glue. Just Elmer's Glue works for something like this. And just tap a little fin on there. And then I'm going to add some going down the back here. I think I'm just going to use yellow. I think it would look pretty with my yellow hearts on this particular seahorse. Okay, I'm going to get some more of those. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add some to his little crown up here. Now, with that part right here on the crown, I cut off this tip part. It kind of sits a little nicer, I think. So I think actually one will do just fine up there. So that's the seahorse. So as you can see, you can do any design you want and they'll all look different and special. So just be creative and have fun with that project. Okay, so I'm going to show you the last one, which would be the elementary school one. That's for kiddos that are over 6. But again, any of the kids can really do pretty much any of this, as long as you feel they're able to do that. Help them as well. So the last one, let me move some of the stuff out the way. We're going to be doing it's another kind of crayon resist. This is what do you call this? Is a jellyfish. So we're going to go ahead and do that one. Again, you can use oil pastels or crayons. These oil pastels, you can get any of these products at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Blick Art Materials, or you could probably also get them just really on Amazon or anything. If you don't want to go out, you can order those if you want. They have smaller sets too. You don't have to buy these big expensive sets. Okay, so jellyfish. Jellyfish, you really look at it, if you look at the shape of him, it's kind of an oval. It's like a bent oval, okay? So all you're going to do for that is you're going to take your pencil, and I'm just going to make almost like a half circle, right? And bring it down, kind of come up. Or like a mushroom, okay? And then it's going to have these little, what are they, tentacles? Just come down like that, okay? And up here is like a little half circle and some lines, all right? So now I'm going to take, in this case I think I'm going to use some oil pastel, and I'm going to kind of press a little bit hard because it's white on white paper. So it's not going to show that gray, right? But when you add your watercolor, you will be able to see all this stuff much better than when you can see it now, okay? So just go ahead. I'm going to draw on that, and you can draw some little bubbles. In this case, I just did white ones, okay? So I just, white circles, fill them in, various sizes, okay? I might want to add some more tentacles, okay? So that's this shape. And look, he's swimming differently than this one. So again, they don't have to look the same as my samples. Feel free to do what you want with those. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start to add my watercolor. So as you can see with this one, the top part of my jellyfish is another color. It's like a red color. So let's see, we're going to make this one, I have this pretty like burgundy color. Let's see what that looks like. I like that. So I'm going to fill in the top of my jellyfish. And if you want, I think this might be kind of cool if I just put very little of the same color, just because we can, and try something different, coming down just a little bit like that, okay? Then you can even pick up, it looks like I have some yellow, so maybe just a little bit of yellow glowing in there. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the background. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and I don't know if you've noticed, but when I painted this in, I just went right over my crayons, right? Because the paint doesn't stick to the crayon, right? So I'm just going right over that one I painted, the jellyfish. Now I'm just adding my color to the background. Now again, take your time, don't rush. You can add other colors in there, okay? Make it your own. So, just finishing it up, adding some color around the background. So after I finish this one, I will show you a very, very quick thing you can do, which will help keep the really little ones entertained for a while. Basically, it's just going to be a gallon Ziploc bag that we're going to add some paint to, and you can tape it to a table surface, and the kiddos can draw their name in it. They can do little pictures on it and stuff, and it'll keep them entertained for a while. Just make sure that you know the Ziploc is closed and you possibly tape it shut, because you don't want it to get out all over your furniture or what have you. So if you hang on for 1 second, I'm going to show you that one really quick. But here's the last project here, and then of course you let them dry. So that's how you make your jellyfish. It's kind of fun. Okay, so hang on 1 second. I'm going to grab a Ziploc bag and show you what I mean as far as adding some paint to a Ziploc. Okay. So for this project, you're just going to get some paint. I'm assuming that you would have some of the washable paint on hand because we use it for our other projects. But you can just do that. You can throw in some paint. You can put more than one color in. Let's throw some, because maybe they want to learn how to mix colors, right? See what they really enjoy, believe it or not, seeing what colors they make when their water gets mixed up in here or in any circumstance. So they like that. So basically you could do that, and you could even add, I would say add a little bit more paint to it, okay? But you're closing the bag up, taking some painter's tape, and you can just tape it right to the table. And if you have more paint in here, I would say put a little bit more than that, but they can write their name in it, they can draw little pictures in it, and then they can just rub it and make it go away, and then they could do more. So it'll keep them busy for quite a bit of time. Okay? Thanks for joining me today. That's it today, but we'll hopefully see you soon. Bye.